now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our first storyteller. This young man's immigration journey goes from a rural town in Virginia to Kenya and back. He brings an effortless comedic spin to his immigration tale. Give it up for Mr. Kiragu Beauttah.
What's going on, people? All right. Like I said, my name is Kiragu. I'll say that again. It's Kiragu.
Kiragu.
All right. Yeah. It's okay if you mess it up. My grandmother called me kangaroo till I was 6. That's the immigrant story right there. Microaggressions. My story is a little different from most of our presenters because I actually was born here. And I'm not just saying that in case this is some elaborate ruse by the Trump administration to just round us all up, just be waiting outside. I was born here. My mother, she's an amazing woman. She's from a small place called King William, Virginia. All right, it's kind of like middle of nowhere, Virginia, Tea Party land. She grew up during desegregation. And as a matter of fact, the plantation that some of my family came from is like right up the street. Right. Some of my cousins, as a matter of fact, during high school, some of my cousins actually worked there. Right. For money, I asked. I did ask. Yeah, so that type of environment wasn't really, didn't match my mother's spirit. And she, in turn, moved to Washington, D.C. and became a part of like the Black Power movement there. As a matter of fact, the last dude my mother went out with before my father was Stokely Carmichael. Right, right. Now, you see the nose? I don't know. Yeah, but the next guy she went out with was a Kenyan student. My father, James Beauttah. They fell in love. They got married, had me, and we all moved to Kenya, where we lived for the next few years. Eventually, my mother's father became sick, and she wanted to move back to the States to help take care of him, and that strained the relationship. She moved back to Virginia with me, and I didn't see my father again for another 23 years. Wow. Right. Growing up like that made me angry, made me very militant. I don't know, I felt very foreign. You know, like my earliest memory in America was standing in the living room. I remember asking for water, right? And I said like Maji, right? That's like the name for water and stuff. And everybody busts out laughing. And so I just never spoke Swahili again. I just like let it go entirely, you know. It didn't get better when I got to school where everybody, you know, they call you African booty scratcher and spear chucker and every other thing, right? When they go through the roll call and they're like, John, Jim, then you hear that long pause. That's you. You know, so as a result, I kind of like skewed towards everything black. All right, when it was time to pick an instrument, I'm gonna pick the drums. It's the blackest thing up here, right? I'm gonna get the drums. When it's time to pick a college, I picked the HBCU, Virginia State University. Blah. Yeah, okay. All right. See, trophies everywhere. But I never really knew that other part of me that was, you know, that was missing. So I was very excited when I was an adult, 26 years old, and my father and I began communicating over the telephone. And we worked out something where I was going to go to Kenya and meet the other half. Before I left, my mom, you know, she called me over, and I thought, you know, okay, she's going to, you know, give me something, like some blessings and all, because that's her spirit. And she gave me some divorce papers. She had been sending these papers to my father for years. And he refused to sign these divorce. He done had he got married 2, 3 more times and refused to sign these papers. So now, you know, I'm going to Kenya and I'm trying to like rekindle, you know, discover the other side of myself, but also like I'm acting as an agent of the court. You know? This is going to go down. It's going to happen. You know, but it's always looming in my mind. I get on the plane, I go over to Kenya, and it's kind of like Richard Pryor said something about when you go there, it's different, right? And I agree totally. It's like you look and the stewardess is black, and the pilot is black, and the president is black too, and the what do you call it? The people on the money, they black. You know, it was like it was a lot. I don't know, it like kind of like overwhelmed the senses. I was really like torn, because for a while I didn't even think about the N-word. You know, I've been called it a lot of times in my life, and while I was there, that word I didn't think it to myself. I didn't say it, and I say the N-word a lot. I say it a lot, but I did not say it while I was there. It was like something in me was different, like everything was changed. And my first few weeks there, I meet my father. Like I said, he looks just like me, moves just like me, and talks just like me. It's weird, you know. It's real weird. My family, I'm staying with my grandfather while I'm there, and with an aunt, and we're traveling around the country, you know, just meeting family and stuff. But I don't really see my father a lot initially. He just kind of dips in, dips out. And I'm wondering, where's this brother going? You know, he doesn't stay with us the entire time. Turns out my father has a whole nother family. Yeah, he has a wife who's about my age. and another child, a daughter, my little sister Shira. And I found out about this, and I kind of corner him, right? And you know, now I've got like 20-something years worth of rage. He's about to get it. You know, he's about to really get it. So I'm talking to him, I'm like, just letting him have it, like, you know, you weren't there for me, And after a while, you realize you're just cussing at an old man. You know, there's no satisfaction in it. You know, I bring up the papers, I said, look, my mother deserves his happiness. You need to sign these papers. He's like, oh, I always loved her, I always will. You see, I was gonna come, but they had me on a FBI watch list for my times doing subversive acts against the government when I was in. And he said a lot of things. He said a lot of things, you know, but that was my dad. I just, you know, I took it and moved on and just kept kind of reiterating the entire time I was there. We travel over to Maragua. It's an area where it's like the dirt is all red, you know, and everybody kind of has this like reddish tint to it because of this dirt. And we're there, and it's like lovely. I'm meeting all these people I've never seen look, sound like me and all. And I don't say anything because when I don't talk, everybody thinks that I'm Kenyan, you know, that I'm from there. But when I speak, they know it immediately, right? So I speak, and one of them says, she said, "Oh, you're a black nigga from America." I said, yes, yes I am. Black nigga from America. But that really, it showed me you really can't run from it. You know, that message is out there. You know, whether you want it to be or not, people all over the world are learning about us the same way we're learning about them, the way we're calling them African booty scratchers, and way over there they're calling us just niggas from America and all. Like, it's a similar thing, but we just don't know enough about each other, you know. But we move over to a place called Kisumu, right? It's by the lakes, right? Mosquitoes as big as your head. Right? And while we're driving out there, I'm really homesick, so I'm fiending for something familiar. And we're at a gas station, and I see these things called meat pies, right? And it looks like a beef patty. Right? I like beef patties. Right? So I was like, oh snap, give me a beef patty, right? I get the beef patty, I become violently ill. Very quick, within 5 hours, down bad, and I'm sweating and I'm shaking and I'm throwing up, it's coming out everywhere, and I'm like, I'm gonna die in Kenya right now. This is not desirable. And my father's trying to like nurse me back to health. He's like, give me water. I'm like, oh, you weren't there for me. Sign the papers. But I think that did it. You know, he did sign the papers. he did sign the papers after that. And after that trip, my father and I were able to like really rekindle our relationship. And we talked like a couple times a year. He would call me near my birthday, not on it, like maybe within 35 days of my birthday. We would call and wish me happy birthday. He actually came, was in our wedding, with a black suit and some brown shoes. All right, but the next time I went to Kenya was 10 years afterwards when he passed away. All right, but that's a story for another time. Y'all remember, use the time that you have now with the people you have in your life and in your family. All right, if it ain't good, make it better. That's my story.